Hey everybody, welcome to Mid America Dirt. I'm Skip, and I have got Chris Hewitt Racing with me here today. Chris, how you doing, man? Pretty good. I actually had a pretty bad day, and I was waiting until we got on here to tell you about this. I had a rooster attack me this afternoon and poke a massive hole in my leg, in the back of my leg, and I was a little worried. I'm like, man, I do not want to have to call Chris and be like a rooster, poked a huge hole in my leg, and I'm gonna have to go to the hospital to get the damn thing sewed up. So, uh, I got it stopped, all the bleeding, so I'm good to go. And another funny thing is, I don't know if you've watched it yet or not, but uh, last night I did the Greg Deathridge interview, and I wanted to make it really good, wanted it to be a good show. So I got my cat put up, or my wife's cat put up, and we were sitting here, and toward the end of that interview, I got these earbuds in, so I can't really hear anything but you. I started hearing something. I'm like, what is that? I looked down, and she got out somehow. She's right over here, and she's already mad because, we went up to Ohio for 4 days, right? She's already mad. So I'm like, in the interview, I'm like trying to, you can't really see my arm, but my arm's like, moving, trying to get her away from there. She laid her claws into me at one point, and you could see my face change in the interview. My face changed because I was about to scream. She just tore my leg up. I mean, up, man. So you'll see the spot in there if people watch it where I had to cut it, but I probably should. I probably should have left it in there, but I didn't. I wanted it to be good. But anyways, so I'm gonna put a picture of your car up here during editing so people can see it. And what kind of chassis do you have, Chris?
I started out with got 13 nights on it between last year and this year. Uh, what was a week and a half ago? We were up in Humboldt and ultimately got that car bent pretty good. So now we have acquired a 2016 Black Diamond that we're putting
Okay.
together. Uh, Chassis are similar but different, so I don't think we'll have a whole lot of learning curve in swapping the chassis. But hopefully we get the blue gray back up and going because starting to like that car quite a bit.
Your blue gray.
you know, finally
Yeah.
finally hit on some changes, and we're finding some speed and consistency. Last year we had a little 358 motor in it, and it ran good. This year we fell into a nice little 421 combo, and just too tight, too loose, and I think we finally made the right changes. And unfortunately, got tied up in a wreck, and now we got to take a couple steps back and regroup.
Where'd you wreck at?
Humboldt, Kansas.
At Humboldt. Okay. Okay. For people who don't know, what does blue gray mean? What does that mean?
So Rocket had a couple different styles of cars coming up when they first started. They had the Rocket Black, which typically with Rocket they break it down to like the black front end or black chassis. They had an orange, they had a blue, they had an orange gray, and just a bunch of different combinations of different stuff that they
So
were.
is it like a model?
Yeah, so like your new style Rocket's an XR 1.2 is the new.
Right.
You had the XR1. I think it started in 17ish. Your blue grays ran up to that point. Blue gray, from what I've been told, is a really good chassis to get into for a beginner. I haven't driven any other cars, so I can't say yay or nay, but I really enjoyed my blue gray. Um, I had uh, Ruhlman up north. He did all the updates on my car prior to me owning it, so he was a lot of help with getting me lined out, ride heights, bar lengths, bar angles, this, that, and the other. He was a huge help. Get me.
How important is that to your racing,
It's
like getting
everything.
all that stuff done?
It's everything. So
Like
like
aerodynamic wise? Is that what it is
just
about, or what?
chassis handling. So everything's based on geometry. So like your rear four bars, angles is everything. too much angle or more angle can be more rear steer, or it can be more drive, more dig. Same thing with front end geometry, control arm angles, dive, everything else. It all plays a huge factor. It's kind of like going to the alignment shop with your daily driver, and you're 11 degrees out on toe. You've got 6 degrees of caster camber in it, so it's pulling. It's all the road eating tires up. You got a lot of scrub, a lot of drag in it. So through the chassis dynamics going into the corner and everything else, there's a lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts, and everything's got to work with itself to let the right front, dip down, left rear get up, right, roll over on the right rear, keep your toe, and your bump steer correct, and if one little thing's off, it can throw a loop for it, but a good driver can accommodate for that. Um, I mean, it's better if everything's working great, nothing's bent, but we run door to door, you know, 80, 90, 100 plus mile an hour. Things are going to get touched and scuffed and bent, and
Right.
you gotta adapt on the fly. Chassis
Gotcha.
or track conditions is another big deal. There's a lot of times you go out there, track will have some moisture in it. About 6, 8 laps in, there ain't no moisture, and you're over there cranking on your brake adjuster, get some rear brake in it, get some drag, keep it from lighting the tires up, and get the chassis to do what you want it to do. Uh, I mean, there's just so many aspects into these late models. I
I know, man. It's like seriously, it's like science class.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's advanced trigonometry in junior
yep,
high. So I come out of factory stock into a late model, and there's not a whole lot you can correlate between the two,
quite a
unless
bit of
you,
difference.
oh man, unless you drive a factory stock just lights out, throw it in the corner, hang on. I really can't put the two together because they're two completely different animals.
Yeah,
You got a kitty cat and you got a mountain lion.
I got you. I got you. What kind of motor you got in the? What kind of motor you running now?
Small block Chevrolet 421. It's a dark little
Okay.
M block, Brodex headed, nice little piece.
What kind of fuel?
I'm running HCR Plus right now.
Okay. Okay. And what kind of difference does the fuel make? Is it? Do you have to use a certain kind of fuel
So
in a
with
certain engine? Like if you've got an all aluminum block, big
so
wide bore engine, do you have to use the really high octane stuff in it, or does that?
octane has a lot to do with RPM range you're running and your compression ratio. So
Okay.
the higher octane typically goes to the higher compression, higher RPM engine. So if you're out there with a 10-to-1, compression engine running 9,000 RPM, I wouldn't run anything below 112, which is Sunoco Supreme. If you're up there 12 or so, to one compression, the HCR is going to be your big ticket. Detonation can kill an engine. Basically, what that comes down to is, cylinder temps. Fuel has a lot to play with that. There's a lot to go into, what fuel to run. A lot of guys still run methanol. I believe with the technology we got in fuels now, gas is the ticket. You don't have near the fuel burn off through the feature, so your chassis stays more consistent throughout the feature. Methanol, you'll run through some methanol pretty quick. Um, but like my motor, it's got some pretty good compression to it, and we got the chip set at 8,000 right now. Still getting it ran in. Not comfortable with turning it up anymore right now.
Okay.
But pretty happy with where we're at with it right now.
How many horses? Do you know how many horses it's got, or can you guess?
I don't. If I was going to speculate, we're north of 700 pretty easy. Um, I'd like to get on a chassis dyno and actually get it ran in. That way I can, if it's making good power north of 8,000, I can keep that in the back of my head, in case we need it. Got the wrong gear in the car at the 8,000 mark and we can turn 85. Turn the chip up a couple more or so forth. But so far, I've been pretty happy with the chip at 8. Been sufficient with our gear selections and not over gearing it or under gearing it. We've been pretty close on our gear guesses, I guess you can say.
Now, you say gears, you're talking about the rear end.
Yep.
I
So that
watched. I was at Creek County. I mean, I think you were there, but I didn't get a
I was
chance.
when you're at Creek, we're at Humboldt.
Oh, okay, okay. But I was at
Yeah,
Creek County and I watched Jimmy Van Zant, and his guy. They just, man, that's pretty nice. They just took that cap off, popped in a couple of gears right there, popped that back on. And I mean, they were good to go. I mean, I guess that's what the quick change are in. Is that what they call that?
sir.
And for people who don't know, I mean, is that stuff expensive? Like the gears and stuff?
So
What goes in?
the quick change gears themselves, buying them new. I think the PIM brand lightweights. I think they're just over $100, like $130 a set new. Um, we buy used sets. There's a couple auction sites on the Facebook that we get gears from or buy from other racers. You can get used gear sets from, man. I think I bought one set for $30, and on
Okay.
average, we're about 40 to $50 a gear set. Uh,
And those gear sets, what do they do? Like, do you use certain gears for certain size track you're on,
yep.
or how does that work?
So gear, um, say like Creek County, which is a tight bull ring. Um, Typically you're going to be running anywhere from, depending on your motor and your driving style and your chassis characteristics, you'll be running anywhere from like a 660 up to probably like a 740 gear ratio. Gear ratio is what dictates the RPMs you're capable to turn for the mile per hour you're trying to get at a certain track. So, like, I ran a 664 at Creek uh, for practice. I'm 15 minutes from Creek. That's our home track. Say Thunderbird down there in Muskogee. I ran a 549 down there.
It's a
And
big one, right?
yeah,
That's
it's
a
a big
half
half
miler.
mile track. So, track size, motor RPMs, um, all that plays a huge factor into what gear selection you'll choose. Anymore, I mean those quick change gears. I mean they've got them to where you can have like a 549, a 552, a 555, a five. I mean you can dial a car in um, on,
Right where you want it, get pretty
yep.
precise.
And I mean 200 RPM can make it or break it on you running up front. Um, going from like a 664 to a 676 gear could be a huge loss or gain depending on track conditions and everything else.
Okay. Uh, you answered one of my questions for me. Um, like, so I've asked this before. I think I asked Chris this when I had him, or Chris Wilhite when I had him on here. What's what's more important on, let's say, a quarter mile track? Your motor. What's your opinion? Your engine or your setup, like your
So,
suspension?
on a small track, quarter mile bull ring, there's not enough straightaway to drag race. I I ended up with my Mid American factory stock motor in my car last year when we blew my big motor up. We went down to KMS down there in Neshoba. It's a tight bull ring, quarter mile dry slick track, 355 Howard's 450 lift cam, factory stock motor with my 50 wheelies carb. Um, to me, if you can get through the corner faster than anybody else on both ends of the track, you're going to run up front on a quarter mile. Uh, Now you've got some pretty fast quarter mile tracks out there, but like Creek County, if you can't get through the corner, you're not going to be up front. Um, Electric City up there in Butler, Missouri, that's probably the best track I can dictate where you have to be good through the corners, but there's still enough drive down the straightaways where you'll have to have a little bit of motor to be competitive there. Um,
Okay.
that's a
Is that
third
just
mile track.
because of the way it's shaped?
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's like I said, it's a third mile. Um,
Okay.
but them type bull rings, if you get through the corners, I mean, a factory stock motor can make you. I'm not going to say be up there in the top five every weekend, but they're not an uncompetitive engine.
I got you.
To be out.
So your setup on those is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so I guess the opposite's true on like a half mile. You need
The half mile, you better have some ponies behind you. Setup is still another big deal on the half miles because
true.
uh, down there at Thunderbird, I can't remember what they clocked some of them guys like Eli Ross. Um, the Ross family owns
Yeah.
Thunderbird. Hudson O'Neill come down last year for the Hayden Ross Memorial Race. Them guys were low level flying around that track. I mean, if I was going to be guesstimating, it was 130 plus mile an hour around that track.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
watching them from inside my car go around me. It was cool. Not as far as getting lapped, but
I
watching that
got you.
kind of not watching them pull away from me that hard that fast. It was different.
They got
Uh,
quite a bit of money behind them too, though.
oh yeah, they got some nice
Yeah.
equipment. Sure.
I mean, I know I've talked to guys and they tell me how much all that stuff is. I've heard those big guys. I mean, you could have 130 grand in a car,
Oh,
motor, chassis, shocks. How much are shocks? How much is a new set of shocks?
I've never bought a new set of shocks other than from a factory stock. I've been lucky when I bought my Blue Gray, it had a set of Penske's on it. I bought a set of used Olin's first this year when I put my car together. I gave $1,200 for them for all six shocks. Um,
That
I
sounds like a really good deal from what I've heard.
for what they are, it was a nice deal. They've got a few seasons on them they need freshened up, but don't have the money to send them off right now. Um, they've worked really good for me. They changed my program around a lot. They fit my driving style, and the adjustability in those shocks makes it really nice for a guy like me. Um, so, but shocks and springs is a huge deal in these cars. Keeping fresh springs, making sure, everybody tells me about smash numbers, this, that, and the other. I haven't got to that point yet. I've had a
Oh,
couple guys offer that bring my stuff over. They'll smash them out, kind of get me lined out. I just haven't got to that point yet. Um, like I said, currently trying to put my Black Diamond together. Um, had a guy step up and help me get into that car. So I'm not sitting too terribly bad there. But it
Clay
just,
Stuckey seemed to have done pretty good with it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
it
several others. I mean, but
yeah. I
him
mean, Will
him
Will Hight's
especially.
on the Black Diamond setup, on the chassis. There's been Earl Pearson
Yeah,
Jr. rocked them
sure.
forever.
Yep.
Garrett Alberson was a Black Diamond guy for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of big names that's rocked Black Diamond.
Yeah.
Uh, so far, with all my communications with them guys down there, they seem like a solid group of guys. I'm happy to be in one of their cars, and hopefully that'll get me to the next step and get me a little bit faster every weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you were talking about some stuff the spring smashing. I mean, that's something we don't have to get into today, but maybe next time we can talk, we can get into that. I'd like to know. I'd like to know more about that. I know you gotta
So there,
you gotta get it and then put some kind of spacer in it or something.
so you'll load your shock and your cool spring assembly up into a machine, and it'll be hydraulic, electronic, or whatever, and it'll actually compress the shock assembly, and you'll measure your travel distance and everything else. It'll tell you how much pressure you have on that spring per every increment of travel. So Black Diamond sent me some sheets on some smash numbers and everything on where they want certain things to be at, and then people
To
have
go
the
with that chassis. Is that
yep,
right?
yep,
Okay.
and that goes back to you can build 10 cars identical, put 10 different guys in there, and have them jump in each and every one of those cars. Everybody's got their own preference. Everybody has their driving style, and then you know quality control of things. The way they build these chassis, they're pretty consistent, but they all do something a little bit different. Material for the tubing, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot to play into it.
Right.
That's their recommended baseline, and then you make your adjustments off of that to suit yourself.
I got you. I got you. Well, I've been real technical here at the beginning. Let's go off to some fan top stuff. Tell me, are you like your family been into racing, or are you first gen racer, or tell us about
So
yourself and your racing career?
so my dad, he ran factory stocks, street stocks, outlaw stocks, whatever they called them back in the day. My uncle Robbie, he ran factory stocks, sport mods. My uncle Lee and Dawn, they ran sprint cars down a lot and everything. I wouldn't say it was heavy in the family, but we went to the track.
Right.
Even if we weren't racing, we go watch. I got into pure stock right before my 16th birthday. Went out to Testing Tube, and I think my first race was the weekend of my 16th birthday.
Oh, cool.
I think I ran 5 races that year, and Dad couldn't keep up with parts to keep it together. Trying to keep his Camaro together and my Malibu. So that was the end of my early racing career. But no, it's just, we're out here in Oklahoma. There's things to do, but, any kind of adrenaline rush and drag racing, I mean, you're in it for, depending on what you're racing, 8 to 15 seconds. Where we're out there, some nights we're out there for quite a while. I mean,
Yeah.
it's elongated rush is what it is, and I love it.
How awesome is it to drive a race car?
I've got people come up to me like, "What's the best way to explain it?" I was like, "You ever been booze cruising back road?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, toss the beer out the window, and that's what you're doing. You're out there on the back road having a good time." And that's all it is to it. And
That's a good way to put it. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah.
yeah, it's Oklahoma. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm from Arkansas. I know what you're talking about.
But no, it's not for everyone. A lot of people get too competitive. They get way too deep in it, and then they think they have to, finish in a certain spot or they're not going back out there. And if you're racing for money, I mean, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
All right. I heard you can't even make money doing it
I,
anyway. I
it,
mean,
it yes and no. Like on the level we're at, we're low budget team. Me and my dad. Um, we're in our stuff cheap. We don't have the money to go out there and buy the nicest stuff. We get used stuff. We make it work. We figure it out. I'm slowly getting better equipment. Dad's slowly getting better equipment, and we go out there and have fun. We come out of factory stocks racing to win $300, get $50 to start. So it's crazy. Between running with the Sooner Late Model Series and the Revival Dirt Late Model Series, you start the A feature, and Sooners pay $325 to start. Rev is $400 to start. So they're on a good weekend. We don't tear anything up. We can pocket $100. Between our diesel getting to the track, our buy-in, all that stuff.
right.
Or factory stock. I mean, it takes a lot.
Yeah. How crucial is sponsorship though
So,
to racing? I mean, that's
so
kind of goes
help.
hand in hand, right?
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
driving a billboard basically, right?
it's a mobile billboard.
Mobile billboard.
I mean, with these late models, I mean, they're not something you see every day around here. So I pull with an open trailer. I've got
That's
people
awesome.
always, everybody drives up, waves, the kids look on their faces and everything else. First of this year, I put out, a sponsor proposal to a few different places, and I got some positive feedback back from one, and then never heard back from them. But I mean, it costs a lot to be, consistently competitive, running top 5.
Okay, so if there are any businesses out there, yeah, or I mean people, I mean if you want to sponsor a car, and I was at Creek County, I saw how many people were there. You can get your stuff in front of a lot of people in this area. And where do you race? You race Kansas, Oklahoma.
So between bouncing between Revival and the Sooners, we're Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma. We'll be at Texas Motor Speedway down there in November for the Power Hour
Oh, cool.
Championship. Um, really, with what happened with my chassis and everything else, I was doodling down the other day on a schedule because I don't think I want to finish out with any series this year. I'm going to go have fun.
Right.
So I mean, I might end up in Nebraska sometime. I mean, it's hard to say. I want to go have fun, um, and keep what it's all about going because points racing, there's no fun in points racing. You're bound to that car. That's a second marriage, a fourth
Yeah,
mortgage.
can you even miss one race?
So like if you've got say 15 cars that show up to every single race, if you miss one race, it's hard to catch back up.
Right.
Uh, so depending on the series, they have different point scales and everything else. You'll have some of them give you a show up, 100 points show up, points. You get so many points depending on how you finish in the heat race. And then ultimately, if you make it into the A feature, you'll get so many points depending on how you finish there. So depending on how they've got it laid out, I don't know how Sooners and Revs have their points laid out. But just say instance, winning the A features 300 points, finishing 20th or 24th last is, 150 points or however. Uh, if you miss out and a guy jumps you by 200 points, it's hard to make up 200 points.
Right.
Uh, and and sometimes it's it's crapshoot. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
wish.
you just pick your own series, I mean, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You just go race.
Yep. So like the Rev, jumped in with them last year, got my car put together late, and really didn't expect to try to race for a full season. It would just go out, get a feel for the car, and go from there. Which, when we got my car together, it was actually the first race the Revival was actually able to get in via rainouts and everything. So we went to Outlaw with them, uh, fought all kinds of issues, and they had tri-states the following day. We were able to finish, I think, seventh both nights, which put us pretty high up in the points.
Hmm.
So I made the judgment call of going ahead and trying to run for Rookie of the Year, and run for points then. I think I ran 6 or 7 races with them. We had an engine failure, and that really set me back. And then we ended up throwing the factory stock motor in there and making 2 nights, and we have valve issue, and ultimately parked us for the season. Uh, but point racing for points has its perks. Revival has a very generous, points payout
Oh,
at
I
the end of
like
the
those guys, man.
year.
Which now I haven't met any of the other guys around here, but those McGee guys, man, they're wow.
they, they've got
They
something
seem
good
like really
going.
good guys.
I really liked racing with the Revival with them guys. They make you feel like you're at home. Everybody's on the same page. They keep
No
you.
joke, man. Some of the nicest people I ever met over there. Hanging out with those people,
Sooners,
man. Just super good people.
the Sooners, they've got a pretty generous, points fund and everything going on. Um, it's just you've got with the MLRA, going down into last year,
Yeah, that sucks.
that threw a bunch of momentum to a series, which ended up being the Revival Dirt Late Model or Super Late
Yeah,
Series. And man, they've got the social media presence, they've got the promotion
they do.
side. I mean, they push it, push it, push it for their second season. I, I'm really happy for them because I mean they've worked hard to get where they're at, and
Yeah,
they're enjoying the fruits from it already.
yeah.
But they work their tails off.
Let's get back to the sponsor stuff, though. I didn't mean to get off on that, but
No, you're good.
excuse me. So, if somebody wants to sponsor your car, they can get a hold of you on social media, correct?
Yeah, I'm on
And I'm going to
TikTok.
link all that. I'm going to link all that in the description on here so people can find it. And if you're a business, I mean, it's a great way to advertise in front of a bunch of people, and you'll be helping out racers. I mean, it's just, I wish I could. I do. I need a sponsor so I can sponsor people.
Going into some of the expenses, like a drum of my fuel is
Sure.
$730. Uh,
How much are tires?
Tires, give or take $200. Like Rev, they sell tires. Sooners, they sell tires to us. At a discounted rate. So you're anywhere from like 190 to $230 a tire. Fuel is another big expense. Just maintenance, ball
Yeah.
joints, prime ends, gear oil, motor oil. I mean, like my engine, we're 10 quart system. I give $104 a case for 12 quarts for the oil we run. Then another $30 for an oil filter. Every
Right.
3 races, we go through there and change the oil and filter. Um, Air filters. I mean, there's a lot of maintenance to go in these cars. And my mother-in-law sponsored me one year at the factory stock, and she was like, "Here's $40. I hope it's enough." I was like, "That pays for my pit pass and a cold drink after the races." Like, you don't understand
Right.
what something so little does in the grand scheme of things. But
Absolutely.
people hear sponsorship and like, well, I don't have $10,000 to give. Um, in 2 years, between 3 engines, 2 sets of shocks, 2 chassis, all my late model stuff, I've got less than $20,000 tied up in everything. So in the grand scheme of things, a little bit of money goes a long ways with our
Absolutely.
program, and it's not necessarily just you know give us this or give us that. Uh, you know, just be there for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And you're a new team. I mean, when did you start out? Last year, right?
last year is my first year in late
Late
models.
model. Yeah.
I ran 3 seasons of factory stocks prior to that.
Okay.
So,
This is your first season in the late model. I mean, no joke, y'all. If anybody out there is watching this and you want to get your name on something, hit Chris up on social media. I will link that in the bio. And uh, well, I mean, let's help this guy out as much as we can. Like I said, I wish I could do it, daggum it. But
it'd be much appreciated. I see.
Deathridge said, "I'm kind of like, I mean, you sponsor one, you got to sponsor them all, right?" So I don't know.
It's not like elementary school where if you ain't got enough shirt with the whole class, you can't bring it. Um, but sometimes you got to root for the underdog,
No,
and we're
you
we're
do.
definitely we're definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, I mean, in his world, he was the underdog,
Yep.
in that race. I mean, you wouldn't have believed that crowd, but yes, yes. I mean, y'all, no joke. Just get if you want to get out in all these states that we've just talked about, get on the side of a late model, front of a late model, whatever. You can work that out with Chris, but you get seen by a lot of people and racing people. Yeah, I mean, they support those who support racing. And it's a tight knit community. You put your logo on the side of that car. People that see that are going to remember that, and they're gonna support that business.
I mean, you see a lot of realize you've seen it, but
Right.
it's stuck back in the back of your head, and then you'll
Yep.
see it again, and you'll go, "Hey, I saw that before," or everybody's on the internet, Google searches, Facebook. Uh, I mean, it's crazy the technology and how far something, a single picture can travel anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, TikTok. I mean, TikTok at first I thought was
Yeah, I know.
ridiculous.
And you've got a pretty good presence on TikTok too. And I know how you drivers are. You shout out your sponsors.
Oh yeah,
I know
most
that. I
definitely.
mean, I see it all the time. I mean, it's just all kind of advertising that can be done there with social media, and not just the car. I mean,
No,
sure. I
just
mean, people are going to see that at the race, and a lot of people are going to see it. But I mean, sponsors get shout on social media, and I mean that's
yeah,
important
you'll
too.
see your sponsors more than you'll ever see the car
Yes,
on social media. It's it's any post, like you'll go through any post, any guy that's got any kind of sponsorship, and just race recap with a single picture of the car, and then all their sponsors.
sponsors. Absolutely.
Hey, this, all their sponsors can't thank this guy enough, can't thank this guy enough.
Right.
But it's
I mean, even the national guys, you see it all the time. You see
yep.
one picture of this, and we did this at that race. Want to send a thank you to all these people down this list. So it's not
And I've seen it
it's not just a
firsthand
car.
where that sponsorship brings in new relations with, it helps grow their business, to where it's not just a single sided deal. You might say you're in the concrete industry and you're getting irritated on material costs for metal fabrication. Well, I've got a fabrication guy sponsor me. You're both on the same car. Your names are seen together. Y'all start collabing together, and there's
Absolutely.
so many different things that could come from it.
Right.
I I've always been that guy. I hate asking for help. I do a lot of this stuff on my car by myself.
Right.
Um, but then again, I mean, we're to that point where it's hard to do everything by ourselves.
Well,
So
I mean, with a super late model, yeah,
there's a lot.
I mean, if you're not a daggone millionaire, it's hard.
Yep. And I
I mean,
mean,
for real,
as the,
those big national teams. I mean, those people are
they
that's
got a
huge
lot of
money,
back.
huge money
Well, when
behind
they
that
can,
stuff.
where they can trash a car in hot laps, roll a backup car out, and
Just like
not
that.
not swap anything.
Yep,
It's turnkey race ready right then and there. Um, Hopefully, I'll be on that level soon. I'll get my blue gray fixed. I'll have two cars.
that's the plan. That's the plan, Chris. All right, let's move into something else. I've got to ask some questions. I want to ask everybody the same questions. And I've got some questions I have to ask you that somebody wanted me to ask you too. What is your? I know you already answered this. I think. What's your favorite track?
So right now,
Like,
got a
if you could go anywhere, any track you've been on, where's your favorite to race on track?
favorite track that I've raced on so far. It would be a toss up between Electric City in Butler, Missouri, and KMS down there in Neshoba. Both
Oh
those
man,
tracks are both those tracks are really interesting tracks.
I
Um,
tell you, on TikTok today, I had somebody tell me, has asked people what track they wanted me to go to next. And I had somebody say they had a cancer benefit there on
yep,
September 6th or something like that. So
yep.
I'm going to try to head down there to that. I've never
We'll
been
be.
there.
I'll be down there for that. I
Oh,
supported them
awesome.
last year on there. That
Heck
was the
yeah.
first night with the factory stock motor. Um,
Really?
so, like I said, that track down there, it's landlocked. Where it's at, it's isolated. I think the last gas station we saw was about an hour through the winding mountain roads to get down there to it. Um,
Okay.
but it's a fun track, and it's just you're out there in BFE, and everybody's out there on the same page. We're out there to have a good time, and
Right. Yeah. I
the
mean,
atmosphere
when they
is
told me
awesome.
about it, when they told me about it, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'll be there and I got to call the guy tomorrow actually. I told him I said I'll be there and I'll do everything I can
Yeah,
to promote it because
I think
that's him.
Tony Suttles has a lot to do with
That's
that.
him.
He's a great dude. We've had a lot of conversations for everything he does for the different benefits, excuse me, and everything. Um, I mean, he works his tail off to make sure you know things are going the right places for those kids.
Right. I'm gonna do everything I can to help out too, and I definitely want to go down there and check that out. Definitely want to. All right. For you, if somebody wants to get an autograph, when's the best time to get an autograph? Before a race, after a race?
So I like to get to the track early. I like to get there, a couple hours before anything. That way,
Right.
I can take my time unloading. Um, I mean, a couple hours before, hot laps, awesome. Uh, Depending on how the night's going, during the races can be it can be
Busy.
kind of
I
hectic.
saw it. Yep.
So a couple hours before, right after, um, just as long as we got a little bit of time because sometimes we get a little hot headed out there.
It's
Um,
true.
a couple words could be spoken. We try our best to keep our cool, but we're all agitated, hot, bothered. Um, so, after the races are slowed down, I always try to hang out, talk to anybody. Kids get up in the car, take pictures, all
That's
kinds of.
awesome. That's
Um,
awesome.
I've never been one that was always in a hurry to get somewhere to be there just on time, and I'm never in a hurry to get out of there.
You said the same thing Will Hott did, either way before or after.
Yep.
And I
Uh,
know because I mean I saw, like I said, I saw people just from qualifying, maybe even hot laps. It was just constant work that whole night trying to get that
tires,
car adjusted.
shock adjustments, putting fuel in, gear changes, body work. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Right.
So I mean, during the races, it's kind of hard for somebody like me that actually works on my stuff. Not knocking anybody that's got guys working on their stuff,
Well,
but for me,
yeah,
um,
you got to do it.
yeah,
That's why you're there.
I'm the crew chief. I'm the
Yeah.
pit help. I'm the fuel man. Um, so, like I said, for me, early or right after the races, and I'll I'll be there till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning if I got to.
Okay.
I'll make sure I talk to everybody, shake anybody's hand, sign anything for you. I don't have like running factory stocks. We had photographers that would give us pictures from the week before and everything we'd buy from them. I probably give 90% of those pictures away, to the kids and everything.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's
I'd like
awesome.
to get some hero cards made up, but my car really hasn't been that pretty to.
Well, it's going to go, if you get one, it's going to go right up here where you can't see, because up here is a wall of hero cards. So if you get one, it's
I'll
going up
send you
here.
one.
Yeah. Uh, Another question. Do you have beef with anybody in the pits? Like, is there somebody, I don't want any names or specifics, but are there like drivers or a driver that you have problems with? Does that happen a lot?
I've had some issues with some guys, uh, but really, I mean, I'm I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I forgive pretty easy. I've had some guys just straight drive over me, factory stocks and late models. But really, I mean, after that night's over, I
You get
mean,
over it?
yeah, we're grown ups.
And you
We're
guys all
we're
know each other too, right?
oh, for the most part, yeah.
I
Every
mean, you
once in a
pretty
while,
much
you'll
all know each other. And I mean, I've seen how, and listening to Greg Deathridge talk last night, I mean, it's really connected. Like
Mhm.
you guys are like
We're a
I mean, you're
family.
like like a big fraternity or club. I mean, you guys all know each other.
Like me, I'm a people person. I can talk with anybody. Um,
Oh, I know. I was looking forward to this interview, dude. Well, because
um,
me and you, folks, when me and Chris talked Saturday. I think it was Saturday. I'm like, after we got done talking about this interview, I said, "Man, I wish we should have recorded this. That'd have been a podcast."
but yeah.
Uh,
But no, I
but
mean, like I
so
said, we're all grown ups. We all got responsibilities. Um, Nobody's going to sit there and, you know, I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll get just bent out of shape over something stupid and hold it forever. But at the end of the day, I mean, things happen, accidents happen, whatever. Move on from it and make tomorrow a better day. That's
yep,
all there is to it. I'm not going to say
okay.
I've never lost my cool or anything like that, but in the
Well,
five
it's
years,
competition, man. I mean,
yeah, adrenaline's high. I mean, our heart rate's up. We're hot. It gets pretty warm in those cars with our
yeah, I
our
can't even
seats and
imagine.
everything. Um, I mean, I can say that I've lost my cool a couple times in a car. Um, and I eat my pride and I go apologize. If I go up there and door slam somebody, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm also the first guy that if we had some really good tight racing and putting on a show, I'll beat you to your car before you get out. And dude, I'm hugging you, slapping hands, shaking hands, whatever, just because that's what it's all about. How fast can we
Right,
go? How close can we get without knocking each other out?
right.
Competition's awesome. I enjoy it. I've had some really good races with some pretty cool guys. Made some good friendships through the late models. Um, I don't know how my reputation is, but I drive everybody the way they drive me. I can't afford to replace my stuff readily available.
Right.
Uh, but I'm going to treat my equipment like it's the only equipment I got because it is, and I have respect for your equipment because I know what it takes to keep that equipment going.
And it's not easy to do, is it? When you're out
No,
there smoking around that track or you're that close together and trying to stay
well,
off somebody or out of somebody. That's
I mean we're how do they explain it? It's the edge of control, but out of control. You don't have control. When you're going through the corner, setting the car in the corner. Like Creek County, we're probably setting the car in the corner on a good heavy track, 60 mile an hour. I mean, we're literally letting the car just fly off into the corner sideways. You
right.
can have control or think you have control, but one miscalculation, a little bit more throttle, a little bit of brake, cut the steering wheel,
That or I
a,
mean, even
a
a bump,
rut,
right?
yeah, a rut in the track. I mean, and then you're out. You don't have control. You're chasing your tail, trying to keep from getting into somebody or keep it out of the wall. Tractor tire. I mean, there's so many variables, especially these late models, when the car gets up in dynamics. Raked up a left rear, right front down, and it's one little and you better hang on because you're along for the ride at that point.
Yeah.
Um, like Will Height and me, my dad, I think there were six of us or so. We're at a creek. few weeks ago. They let us get a little exhibition race out there, and track was heaviest I've ever seen there, but it was rough. Um, and we just I had the setup pretty all right in there, and I drove off as deep as I could, pivoted the car, and it was a lot of fun if I keep out of the ruts. But there were so many ruts. There was I learned a lot about a rough track that night, how my car reacts to it.
I don't know if people who don't know anything about it, if they are just have never been close to the track, how rough those tracks are. I talked to Greg about this last night. I walked on Eldora after that Saturday night race, and man, there were some potholes in that thing.
There's some
I mean, for
character.
real.
There's some characters, what they call it.
And you just can't tell that. You're sitting up in the stands watching a race. You can't tell. It just looks slick and black. And by that time, it's pretty black, got a lot of rubber on it. But you walk down there on that thing, and it's, I mean,
Respect.
yeah, going that fast. With that kind of stuff around there, yeah, man, I don't know. That's crazy. People just don't know.
Rookie year in factory stocks. I was lucky enough to get my first A feature win my rookie year, Father's Day weekend. I think it was 2019. Oh, 2021. I can't remember that. And they got to come down the front stretch, take our pictures and everything. And that was the first time she ever actually walked a track. And she was like, I didn't realize how slick it was or how rough it was. And I was like, yeah, you ought to be in the car because you feel everything you it's it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You just like I said, sitting from the stands, you can't tell what you guys are driving over. It can get pretty rough. For sure.
Well, I mean, ruts necessarily aren't a bad thing either. I mean, there's sometimes that rut is what helps you set the car in, or you can hang a rut on exit and get the car to drive off like nobody's bit. I mean,
Well,
there's
up at
certain.
Eldora, down toward the inside of the track. Not way down there, but down here in the low middle, there were like waves in there.
And what people don't understand is, that's a loss of traction and then a massive load of traction as that tire is coming up and then loading back down on the track. And, that can wear a lot of items out. U joints, load on the engine from, unloading and loading back up. That's a constant strain on a lot of things throughout these cars. Uh, it makes for some interesting races sometimes. But in the grand scheme of things, sometimes it's costly because you may have damaged something, but you didn't see it until you get 3 or 4 races down the road. Then you have a failure. You're like, well, that's probably because of this race or that race.
Right,
Uh,
right.
we nut bolt check our cars after I say after every race. Like we got a 2 day weekend, Friday, Saturday race. We'll go over the quick, obvious stuff and some of the more crucial items. But throughout the week, like Sundays, I like to wash the car. Get the side panels off, go through, wash it, get it in the shop, get it up on jack stands. And like Monday, I'll go over and nut bolt the entire front end. Tuesday, I'll go in, do the entire rear suspension. And Wednesday, I'll sit there, go through whatever repairs I need to. Then I'll go from bumper to bumper and go through the car one more time. Check for any, loose hyme ends, ball
Right.
joints, anything, everything. Uh, and because it's better to fight it throughout the week and have to miss a race, and then instead of going to the track on a Friday or Saturday and missing it, and it coming apart costing you,
A
uh,
bunch
it,
more.
it costs you a whole car depending on what it is. I mean,
Right.
a, a $3 bolt could cost you a chassis. It's
Golly.
it's meticulous maintenance and it's a lot of work, but then we get out there and we get to racing, and all that hard work throughout the week's paying off. It's a stress relief. It's like sticking my toes in the sand uh, on a vacation. Racing to me is what keeps my head level from however kind of week I had that week before.
I hear you. I hear you. Chris, man, I think we're going on like 50 minutes. I can talk to you all night, man. But I probably need to let you go. And because we're going to have a part two at some point. So hopefully, if I did a good enough job for it to come back, hopefully we'll have a part two.
Hopefully I'll have like a winner circle picture for you to put up or something.
That'd be
We're
awesome.
trying.
Well, I mean, I'm going to see you again at some point. I mean, uh, I think I'm going to Monette. I don't know if you ever go to Monette, but I'm going to Monette. I think maybe
Went there
tomorrow night
last year.
or this weekend or the next weekend. I don't know yet for sure. But
So as it
anyway,
sits,
so
so as
go
it
ahead.
sits right now, I'm shooting to have the car ready for the 27th, 28th Thunderbird for the Hayden Ross Memorial Race.
Okay.
And then after that, we've got 4th of July weekend at Enid, $10,000 win late model show at Enid.
Nice.
Then we got July 12th at Creek. Sooner late models will be there. And then July 18th and 19th, Rev will be at Butler up at Electric City in central Missouri. And then the ELRA will be at Salina High Banks on the 26th.
Yeah,
And
that's right here
then
close to me. I'd like to see that.
and then Comp Cams will be at Caney, Kansas on August 2nd. And then Enid again on August 9th. That's tentatively what I'm looking at going for so far. Kind of depends on how things go.
Okay.
Like I said, as far as it goes, I'm not going to continue competing for points with any series. I'm just going to go out and have fun. If I get like right now, I think I'm leading the rookie points in the Sooners. There's 2, 3, 4, 5 races there at the Sooners that I plan on attending. If it keeps me in the rookie points, awesome. If not,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
And folks can keep up with you on your social media, and I'll put all those links in the description of the video. And also remember, folks, business owners, anybody, you want to get a sponsorship opportunity, get a hold of Chris on those social media outlets. I would assume that's how you can then get a hold of you.
So, Facebook, Chris Hewitt Racing, TikTok, Chris Hewitt Racing, of course. Stupid simple. I'm trying to get better on the social presence, but I'm constantly I twist wrenches throughout the week, and everything. I do
Well, yeah, I
everything.
mean, you work and you race. I mean,
Yep.
that's, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I understand.
blue collar doesn't quite cut it. I think there should be another term for it. Um,
I hear you, man. I hear you. But yeah, folks, no joke. Get a hold of Chris. I mean, get yourself on a late model, man, and get involved in racing.
late
I
models are
mean, for
awesome.
real, how cool would that be? One of these days, one of these days, I'm
I,
going to do
I
that.
might have 2 cars going for long. So,
Oh, that'd be nice.
I mean,
You need more help.
well,
You're gonna have all kind of sponsorship opportunities available there.
Dad's made the comment a few times because he's got a couple of GRT chassis laying around, enough parts to put another one together. Talked about putting one together and doing a rent-a-ride deal. Just get people into
Oh,
one just to, it's not going to be the fastest, the best car out there, but get
right.
get a factory stock guy, get a modified guy in it, and just let them have a taste.
Yep,
And then we can grow that class. Late models used to be big in the area, then they slowed down. Late
I know.
models are starting to blow up,
Sprint
in
car country
Oklahoma.
over here.
Oh, yeah, sprint cars, tumble buggies. I do want to drive one. I might have the opportunity later this season. We'll see how that works out. But Um, but no, I mean, if you get people on a seat, and they go have a good time, they're going to go buy a car. And then
Right,
maybe we can have a weekly class at one of these tracks or some of these, a short travel between Creek, Tulsa, Caney, or something like that,
right.
where it's one weekend at Creek, one weekend at Tulsa, one weekend at Caney, and
Yeah,
just
that'd be
have
awesome.
something like that, and alleviate some of the abundance in the factory stock class around here
Right,
because
right.
a lot of those guys don't feel they got the money or the horsepower to compete. And I ran 2 races with my factory stock motor last year and kind of showed them you don't have to have it. It helps, but you don't have to.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of crate cars running with the Rev that run, top 10. 602, 604, not so much the 602s, but I know there's a handful of 604 guys that run off and on with Revival. And man, they're quick. I mean, they've got their chassis dialed in, and it runs like a sewing machine.
Right.
Horsepower is nice, but it's not it's needed but not needed. It's a fine line of having enough and not having enough.
Right.
The track size plays a huge factor in that as well.
Right.
more horsepower.
Yeah. Well, that's just how it works, though, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for real. All right. Well, Chris, let's end it here. And thank you so much for coming on here, man. I've been looking forward to this. And, I mean, just really thanks. Thanks for talking. We're going to talk again, and I'll see you at the race.
Appreciate it, sir. You have a good evening.